Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'd like to start a series called ToolTips, where basically I'll just be going over any aspect of a character's builds, whether it be the utility skills, the weapon, or a really important trait. I'll just go in really big detail into that one thing and talk about some things you could do with it, some uses, applications, and stuff like that. So today I'd like to start off with the toolkit on the engineer. Before I go into the toolkit, I think it would be a bit useful to show off my build. This is the same build from my other guide, Celestial Engineer build. The noticeable changes are we switch out Sigil of Battle for Sigil of Doom, mainly because Battle and Might as in a general was nerfed really badly. Well, not too badly, but it was nerfed. So now we go with Doom, which is a bit better. We still stick on Hullbrack runes, although there are numerous variations of this build now. So you could stick with this setup and only change the runes, and instead go with the runes of the scavenging. I haven't really tried that out, but I've seen some people do it and it worked out pretty well. Another thing you can do is take out intelligence and swap it out for leeching. And in turn, because of your lost crits, you want to run runes of the pack. So the traits are still the same, 60044, same setup. If you don't know it, then here it is. But that's basically it. So before I get started, I'm gonna be mentioning a burst combo a lot in the future. And although I showed one in my Celestial Engineer guide, I'm referencing a different burst combo, and this one actually is a really big burst combo, unlike the last one, which is sort of like a DPS rotation. So what this does is basically utilize your 3 intelligence procs a lot better than maybe throwing your shrapnel grenades and wasting them all at once. So it'll look something like this: you overcharge shot, throw a wrench, net shot them, jump shot to them, switch in midair, pry bar, and blunderbuss. And that way you'll get the most out of your intelligence sigils. So with the toolkit, there are a lot of cool things you can do with it, especially with the number 5 skill, which is the magnet. But just as a general overview, the toolkit is really good for DPS with your pry bar, utility with your gear shield and magnet, survivability because of your gear shield, CC because of the magnet, and I guess cripple in a way is kind of CC, and a lot of the skills have a lot of cripples on them. Alright, to go into detail, I guess we'll start off with the cool things you can do with gear shield, and please disregard H-Man and Morpheus arguing in the background about who's better. So, gear shield. So I said earlier that it can simulate the effects of Elixir S, and basically, so if you don't know Elixir S, basically, disregarding the tool belt skill, Elixir S gives you a stun break, and it lasts 3 seconds. And in that 3 seconds, you can't get hit by anything, so it's good for assured stomps, but the condies on you still take away, and stuff like that still affects you. So it's pretty good in some situations, but it's not all that great. So if we're trying to simulate Elixir S, what do we need? Well, we need a stun break, and we have a fairly short stun break on 25 seconds. And we also need invulnerability for 3 seconds, which the gear shield has. So not only is this the same thing as Elixir S, but it also has a significantly shorter cooldown. Elixir S is 60 seconds, and this is only 25 seconds if you want to line it up. Yeah, so when you're stunned, you can just pop super speed and gear shield and run off, and it'll be the same as Elixir S. Connies will still tick on you, but the only bad part is you can get pulled out of it by, say, like another magnet, so that's the only bad thing. Alright, so now we go on to magnet, which is probably going to be the bulk of this video. So there's a lot of things you can do with magnet, and it's really interesting how it works. So because of the way that engineers work, you can end up canceling a lot of your skills and have them go on a 4-second cooldown. So there you saw I canceled it and it went on a 4-second cooldown. And this is really useful because in the higher levels of play, a lot of people know the magnet animation. It's pretty conspicuous too. It looks like this. There's like a big grayish line coming out from you to your opponent. So when opponents see this, even if they dodge it the moment they see it, it lasts long enough so that it lasts in between the start of their dodge and the end of the dodge. So they're assured to be dodging it if they dodge it when they see it, if that makes any sense. So what people do is they try to scare their opponents by activating the magnet and canceling it so they waste a dodge. And that's sort of the whole premises of magnet when you're trying to play around with it, is trying to bait out dodges. And as you'll see in the future videos, there's a lot of ways the engineer can bait out dodges. And it's really useful when you're trying to land your big bursts that your opponents would normally dodge. So let's just go into the most basic way of canceling it, which is activating it and then dropping your kit with your swap weapon set. On kits you can't stow weapons, so like if I were on rifle, I would be able to just activate a skill and then stow my weapon, and the skill would be cancelled. However, if I try to do that on a kit, let's say I want to cancel my magnet and I try to stow my weapon, it doesn't work. Right there I just canceled it with the drop bundle because I wanted it on the cooldown. So the next way of canceling magnet is a way that not many people use. I guess it's because it's just more effort, but what it does is it allows you to stay in toolkit and still cancel magnet. So if you cancel magnet regularly, you lose the toolkit and it gets put on like a 1-second cooldown, which some people can't have because they need a block right away or something like that. So what you could do is magnet, jump, and then drop your kit, and you'll get that red message saying you can't trouble bundles in air, and that means you did it right. And in future videos I'll show you how to use that more to your advantage, but for now that's how you can abuse that to drop your magnet. And that doesn't put it on a cooldown, or your toolkit on a cooldown, so that's a plus. So the thing with magnet is if you cancel it mid-animation, then the animation completely goes away. And I guess some people will see that and they just won't dodge whatsoever. So a way to get around that is to wait last second and then drop it. And generally that's what you're gonna want to do, because not many people just dodge when they see it, you know. So you may want to keep it going for a bit and then jump up or something like that and then drop it. And through that you'll bait out a dodge. And so you're gonna 4 seconds until your next magnet comes up again. And you'll probably just stall around. Try not to, I don't know, like try not to burst them, throw some grenades around. And then you can burst, then you can bait out their second dodge. And then you can proceed with your burst. So the last thing with magnet is the stun timer. So most people, when they use magnet, they'll chain it into their pry bar, which is a pretty good combo initiator, I guess. But generally when people use magnet, right away after it ends, they'll just start spamming pry bar. And generally that's not a good idea, because let's say they have a stun breaker and they stun break as they're flying towards you, then they'll stun break and you'll just have wasted your pry bar. So a thing I found was when testing this around, you'll see that so I'll do this on this column here. You'll see that the magnet not only pulls but also has little stun time when they're pulled towards you. So what I mean when I say that is when you pull them, there's a small window where they can't do anything and they're just at your feet. And that's really useful because it allows you to maybe save some cooldowns you otherwise wouldn't have been able to. And as some of you know, if you're pulling someone over a large gap, like the one in Temple, and you want to pull them under, sometimes they fly up into the air and you just can't hit them whatsoever. So in those cases you would have wasted your pry bar as well. So I'll pull him and you'll see he's in that stumble state, and until he comes back up again, that means he can start moving. So in that small window of opportunity, you can do anything you want to them unless they stun break out of it. So you can wait until they actually come to you, wait a second, and then pry bar them. And that way you'll still land it with saving a cooldown maybe. And I guess that's basically it for Magnet. So next, we'll skip over pry bar. It's just a really hard hitting move that applies a good amount of conditions, especially when crit. So we'll go into Box of Nails. So there are a few key things that makes Box of Nails really good. The cripple it applies is really strong for kiting, and it's unblockable, and it hits numerous people, which isn't that good, I guess, but it has a pretty big radius as well, as you saw previously. It's almost that entire circle. So what you can do, so let's say that fist was the point I'm racing to, and my mini is the guy who's racing me there. So let's say he was an engineer, and he knew I was going to start throwing frost grenades on him, because I wanted to get there first to decap. What he's going to do is maybe pop his gear shield the moment he sees the nades come out. And what I can do is drop Box of Nails and potentially kite him to the point.
I feel good.
Or beat him to the point. And something else you could do with it is, if, say you're fighting around the point, you can drop the Box of Nails, and especially if it's like a big point, like Graveyard, you can sort of just kite him around the nails, so he gets full cripple on him, and that way his movement is severely impaired. So I guess the last thing is Throw Wrench. Throw Wrench, it's pretty good. It does a lot of damage. It's, as you can see, it's more than the first two hits of your auto attack, and it applies the same amount of cripple and vulnerability. Some noticeable things is that it can hit up to 5 targets on the way forward and back. So as you see here, it does a total of 19k damage maybe. So it's really good, and as you know, it's used in the combos.
I feel good.
And it's really good if you want cripple. So let's say I want to finish capping a point, but there's the enemy like running towards me. If I wanted to slow him down and I didn't have frost nades up, I could just throw the wrench and he would get crippled. And I guess those are some uses of Throw Wrench. So I guess that basically wraps it up for Toolkit. If there's something else I forgot, you can tell me in comment section or message me in game, which would probably work better because I don't really check the comment section. But yeah, if I forgot something and I remember myself, I'll probably add it in the description. So thanks for watching, everybody. Leave a like if you want, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.